My name is Daniel Harper, and I hold a role that none of my suburban neighbors would ever suspect. Director of Infrastructure Security at the Department of Homeland Security. In plain terms, I'm tasked with shielding critical systems utilities, energy grids, water supplies, and other vital lifelines of American communities from catastrophic threats. To my friends and neighbors in the tranquil enclave of Willow Grove, I'm just a friendly homeowner with a neatly trimmed lawn. I moved here CRAVYing a quieter life after years of relentless crisis management. Little did I know, the most sinister threat I'd ever face would emerge right in my own backyard. Willow Grove, at first glance, radiates the quintessential charm of suburban America: tidy row houses, manicured yards, and kids shooting hoops in the cul-de-sac. But beneath this serene facade runs a subtle current of tension, embodied by one woman, Cynthia Warwick. Known to most as Susan behind her back, she's a middle-aged homeowners association HOA member infamous for her relentless rule enforcement and sanctimonious meddling in personal property matters. I assumed her antics were merely petty annoying citations and intimidation, bothersome but not dangerous. I was wrong. Cynthia's ambitions were far darker, involving manipulation of the neighborhood's underground gas lines to create hazards, potentially explosive ones, to exploit the ensuing chaos for profit. This is the story of how an overzealous HOA busybody morphed into a domestic terrorist, endangering every resident, and how she never suspected the unassuming neighbor with a national security mandate was poised to stop her. I settled into my home on Cedar Lane in Willow Grove during a crisp fall. The neighborhood was idyllic: tree-lined streets, uniform fences, and polite waves from passersby. After years in high-stakes government roles, I longed for normalcy. On MOVYing day, as I unloaded boxes from a rental truck, a woman in a pale cardigan strode up my driveway. Her short, impeccably styled hair framed a face that scanned my belongings with disapproval. "Hello," I said, forcing a smile. She nodded briskly, clutching a clipboard. "I'm Cynthia Warwick, but we maintain formalities here. Call me MS. Warwick. I'm with the HOA. Nice to meet you, MS. Warwick. I'm Daniel Harper, the new homeowner." She scrutinized my license plate, jotting notes. "I trust you've reviewed the HOA guidelines. We don't tolerate clutter, especially in driveways. MOVYing vehicles and storage must be cleared by 5 p.m. It was only 2 p.m. "I'll have it done soon," I assured her. She offered a thin smile. "Very well. Don't leave trash bins out overnight, and keep your grass at 2 inches. Any taller, and it's a violation. Willow Grove upholds standards." I nodded, masking my irritation. She marched off, scribbling furiously. I chalked it up to typical HOA zeal: strict, but harmless. I couldn't have foreseen the danger lurking beneath her rigid demeanor. Despite Cynthia's frosty introduction, Willow Grove felt welcoming. Neighbors dropped by with pies or block party invites. The local park buzzed with families picnicking and couples strolling. Yet Cynthia's influence cast a long shadow. She issued citations like a meter maid fining people for holiday lights left up too long or shutters painted an unapproved shade. Neighbors griped privately but rarely challenged her. One evening, while watering my roses, my next-door neighbor, Laura Bennett, leaned over the fence. A warm woman in her 40s, she smiled. "New here, huh? You'll adjust to the rules, but watch out for MS. Warwick, or Susan, as we call her. She rules the HOA with an iron grip." I shrugged. "I've seen strict HOAs, but she seems intense." Laura lowered her voice. "You don't know the half of it. Last month, she threatened to tow my car for sticking out 2 inches past my driveway. Lately, she's been obsessing over utility lines: gas, water, you name it. Says the companies are incompetent." "Utility lines?" I asked. "She's always meddling. Last year, she pressured the electric company to bury lines already set for maintenance. Now she's after the gas lines, claiming they're unsafe and hurt property values." That conversation sparked unease. My job taught me that tampering with utilities could be catastrophic, especially by someone clueless about their complexity. I hoped Cynthia was just a misguided activist, but Laura's words lingered. 2 weeks later, a midnight walk revealed something odd. Under moonlight, I spotted a figure near a utility access panel on the sidewalk. Thinking it was an animal, I approached, only to see a woman kneeling by the gas line cover, tampering with it. "Hello," I called softly. She froze, then bolted, her short hair and cardigan suggesting Cynthia. I inspected the cover with my phone's flashlight. The screws looked disturbed. My training kicked Inga's line tampering could cause leaks or explosions. I considered calling the police but lacked evidence. Instead, I resolved to monitor the neighborhood's gas lines discreetly. I reached out to a utility contact, asking about recent issues without specifics. They reported multiple tampered shutoff valves in Willow Grove over the past month, subtle changes that could cause pressure issues or leaks. They blamed kids, but I wasn't convinced, Wine said. Gas line sabotage was no prank. I asked Laura if she'd heard anything. She mentioned Cynthia's rants at HOA meetings about city incompetence and her push for a major infrastructure overhaul: roads, sewage, gas lines. She hinted at other ways to force action, Laura said. That phrase chilled me. Then came an anonymous tip at work. Willow Grove HOA official plans to sabotage gas lines to crash property values and buy land cheap. She's learning how. Check records. This is big. The untraceable email bounced when I replied. If true, it suggested Cynthia aimed to trigger a crisis: leaks or explosions to tank home prices, buy properties cheaply, and profit later. I pulled records and found an LLC, C. Warwick Properties, quietly buying foreclosed homes in Willow Grove. The pieces formed a sinister picture: sabotage, fear, and real estate profiteering. I enlisted Special Agent Mark Sullivan, an expert in domestic infrastructure threats. We'd set a plan: undercover surveillance with cameras on gas line access points, financial tracing of C. Warwick Properties, and witness recruitment. Plainclothes agents, posing as utility workers, installed discrete cameras. I asked the utility company to monitor for odd pressure readings, keeping it quiet to avoid tipping off Cynthia. I maintained my routine, mowing the lawn, while VYing to neighbors while Cynthia prowled, citing petty violations. She had no clue I was orchestrating a federal operation. Then, a nearby gas leak in another community heightened local fears. Cynthia exploited it, distributing flyers: gas lines are dangerous. The city ignores us. Demand action at the HOA meeting. I saw it as her stoking panic to prime the neighborhood for a crisis. Surveillance caught late-night movement near gas line covers. One clip showed a hooded figure, likely Cynthia, tampering with a pipe. The angle wasn't clear enough for an arrest. We upped the ante, placing a sensor inside a decoy gas line filled with inert gas, paired with a better-angled camera. Days later, a typed note slid under my door: stop interfering or face consequences. Willow Grove's true value will be revealed. Stay out, or you'll get hurt. My blood ran cold. Cynthia, or an ally, knew I was watching. I alerted Sullivan, and we accelerated the sting. The breakthrough came when Laura knocked, visibly shaken. Daniel, I saw him. Warwick tampering with the gas line near my yard. I confronted her. She had a wrench, turning something. She threatened me, said no one would believe me, and I'd regret reporting her. I reassured her, hinting at an investigation without revealing my role. Her testimony was gold. We set up the decoy pipe to catch Cynthia in the act. At 1 a.m., Sullivan texted, "Sensor tripped. Movement at decoy station." I drove near the site, headlights off, and saw Cynthia crouched by the curb, wrench in hand, illuminated by her phone. I snapped photos, capturing her face and tools. Texting Sullivan for backup, I watched as unmarked SUVs arrived. As inert gas hissed from the pipe, Cynthia laughed, thinking she'd caused a leak. "Hands up," an agent shouted. She froze, then lunged for the wrench, but was swiftly restrained. I stepped forward. "MS. Warwick, I'm Daniel Harper, Homeland Security Infrastructure Security DVY. You're under arrest for attempted sabotage." Her eyes widened in fury. "You can't do this." "I'm the HOA rep." Agents found utility schematics and sabotage plans on her phone. She raged as police secured her, neighbors peeking from windows at the flashing lights. A search of Cynthia's home uncovered stolen blueprints, bribery attempts, and C. Warwick Properties contracts projecting price drops post-crisis. Combined with Laura's testimony, surveillance, and the decoy sting, the evidence was overwhelming. News broke: HOA official arrested for gas line sabotage. Willow Grove reeled, stunned that the woman finding lawn decor plotted terror. No explosion occurred, but the potential devastation haunted us. The HOA, led by new president Emily Chun, reformed, scrapping petty fines for community-focused improvements. The city upgraded gas line inspections region-wide. Cynthia's trial was swift. She was convicted of domestic terrorism, sabotage, and fraud, sentenced to 25 years. Her assets were seized, funding neighborhood revitalization. Willow Grove transformed, hosting potlucks and cleanups free of Cynthia's grip. At a community picnic, Emily thanked me publicly. I downplayed my role, emphasizing collective vigilance. As kids laughed and neighbors bonded, I felt fulfilled. My quiet suburb, nearly undone by sabotage, now thrived, a testament to resilience and the everyday joys I swore to protect.